For this presentation, I decided to research Chapter 43, which is titled Nationalistic Shinto, A Child's Guide to Yasukuni Shrine. As was the case with every chapter in Lopez, there was an overview which served as a preface to the actual reading that contained the majority of the substance. According to the text, Yasukuni Shrine was one of the most controversial religious and political sites in the history of Japan. The shrine was established in 1869 at the request of Emperor Meiji, and it remains at its original location to this day. This location is at the top of Kudan Slope in Tokyo's Chiyodaku. The original purpose of the Yasukuni Shrine was to enshrine and pacify the spirits of the many people who died during the fighting of the Boshin War, which is also known as the Japanese Revolution, as it was a civil war fought in Japan from 1868 until 1869 between forces of the ruling Tokugawa shogunate and those seeking to return political power to the imperial court. Following this war, Yasukuni Shrine became the place for enshrining all of those who lost their lives in battle for the sake of the nation in both civil and foreign wars. Also, in its early history, the shrine had a close connection with the imperial family, as it came under military jurisdiction, and it also served as a center for nationalist propaganda. Following World War II, the shrine became its own independent religious organization. Ever since it became its own independent religious organization, it has faded out of the minds of the younger generations of Japanese people. However, it has managed to remain a site of controversy and dispute to this day. Since the 1950s, traditionalist conservatives and the Association of Bereaved Families have waged a campaign to re-establish the connection between the Yasukuni Shrine and the state, all while liberals, leftists, Christians, and others have fought to oppose any effort to reforge such a link. Another main source of controversy that follows the Yasukuni Shrine is that it is a major symbol of Japan's aggression during the war years of the mid-20th century. Additionally, former warriors make an annual pilgrimage to the shrine, fully embracing the shrine's view of history, while others repudiate what the shrine officially stands for, but see their visit as a means of fulfilling promises to, or communing with the friends and comrades they lost in the wars. Noteworthy enough, not all of the Japanese people who died during the wars are buried here at the Yasukuni Shrine. This is a result of how the criteria for enshrinement has shifted somewhat drastically over the course of history. However, there are non-Japanese people enshrined here at the Yasukuni, which is another source of controversy. Within the shrine itself, there's a very small, hidden-away additional shrine, which is usually unnoticed by visitors, that enshrines all the war dead of all other countries that are not enshrined in the main shrine. It is at this point that we get to the pamphlet of Nationalistic Shinto, A Child's Guide to Yasukuni Shrine, which was intended for children, as it explains the history of the Yasukuni Shrine. The pamphlet starts with a section titled, Dear Fathers and Mothers, and this section tells how one's whole family can have an intimate visit with the gods by worshipping at the inner sanctuary of the main sanctuary at the Yasukuni Shrine. It continues on to encourage children and their families to visit on days of celebration such as Coming of Age Day, the Children's Festival, and the first visit of newborns to the shrine. The next two sections of the pamphlet are rather short, and the first of which is titled The Cherry Trees of Yasukuni. This section is very simple, as all it tells is that there are about 1,000 cherry trees at Yasukuni Shrine, which the gods who are worshipped here are extremely proud of. It also notes that as spring approaches, the meteorological agency examines the cherry trees at Yasukuni to predict when the cherry trees will bloom into the city of Tokyo. This section was followed by one titled The White Pigeons of Yasukuni. The most important part of this section was that there are nearly 600 pigeons that reside at the shrine, and there is one named Papo, who is regarded as a very wise pigeon. The next section is titled, Papo the Wise Pigeon's Answers to Any and All Questions About Yasukuni. This section was a question and answer section where Papo the Wise Pigeon teaches the young people who are reading the pamphlet all about Yasukuni Shrine. The first question was, who built Yasukuni Shrine and when? Papo teaches us that the shrine was built in 1869 by Emperor Meiji under the impression of everyone becoming of one heart and mind under the emperor in order to restore the beautiful traditions of Japan. Next question was, what does Yasukuni mean? Papo once again had an answer, and this time teaches us that Yasukuni means, let's make our country a place of tranquility and gentle peace, and an always peaceful country, and it reflects the great and noble feelings of the Emperor Meiji. The next two questions were very similar, as one was, what gods are worshipped at Yasukuni Shrine, and the other was, could you please teach us some more about the gods? The answers to these can be bundled into one category, as they both relate to knowledge about the gods. Papo would go on to tell us that the over 3,500 pillars who died at that time were the first gods worshipped here, All of those who died devoting themselves to the country from 1853 to the end of the Bakufu 15 years later were also enshrined and worshipped here. All those who offered up their noble lives in such disturbances and wars are also worshipped at Yasukuni Shrine as gods. There are over 2.4 million gods at Yasukuni Shrine. However, not just soldiers are here. There are also 57,000 female gods here. Additionally, there are also children who are worshipped as gods. 1,500 of the gods met their sad end when the Tsushima Mara transport ship was evacuating them from Okinawa to Kagoshima to escape the bombing, and it was hit by torpedoes from enemy submarines, and among them were 700 grade school children. Those who took responsibility for World War II and ended their own lives as well when the Great Pacific War ended are also here at Yasukuni Shrine, as well as the 1,068 people who were branded as war criminals after the war. The final section of the pamphlet was titled Yasukuni Shrine is the shrine where all Japanese go to worship. And this section tells us how the gods of the shrine gave their noble lives on the battlefield, with the hope that Japan might continue forever in peace and independence, and that the marvelous history and traditions of Japan, bequeathed by their ancestors, might continue on and on forever. This concludes Chapter 43, Nationalistic Shinto, A Child's Guide to Yasukuni Shrine.